All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me today for another Functional Friday. I'm just going to go through a quick recap of what we talked about last time. And do remember there are some, oh, we got somebody else in the waiting room. Do remember we also have resources in the module. So, okay. So definitely do check those out, especially once we get started talking about um, the form of exercises and things like that. There's a lot of great videos in there to use. So last week we just talked about the importance of strength training, for what it does for you, heart health, bone density, metabolism, all those good things. Just kind of driving home why this is so important. Setting realistic expectations, making sure that you know that you are where you are. It doesn't matter where anyone else is. So start where you are, and you may not be where you used to be. So remember that too. If you are starting over again, there is a certain amount of adaptation you're going to have to go through again. So be kind to yourself and be gentle. All right, so we're going to talk about assessing where you are currently because sometimes you don't really quite know that. So I'm going to make this small and move it away. Okay. So before diving into strength training, it's crucial to understand your current fitness level. So take a moment to reflect on your daily activities, your exercise habits, your overall lifestyle. Knowing where you stand is the first step towards creating a personalized and effective strength training plan. In your module for this particular presentation, you'll see that there is the fitness readiness questionnaire and the park fitness questionnaire, which you guys, a lot of you, if you're in the program, you've already had that questionnaire filled out before. And it really just kind of reestablishes your baseline of like, okay, do I have any underlying health concerns that maybe need to be checked out by another provider? Especially if there's anything cardiac wise going on. That's a big one that we're always concerned about. Then if there's any lung issues, any joint issues, maybe you need to see, an osteo, uh, like a surgeon or something like that to assess if you have any issues with your knees, or your hips, or your shoulders, or anything like that. So, making sure that you are ready to go before you start any new exercise program, especially as we get older, it's very important to make sure that we're being safe about it. So, let's talk about identifying your strengths and your weaknesses. There are some core movements, and the reason why these are so core is these are basic human movements that we all should be able to perform in our life. So to be able to translate that into a gym setting, or even a home, strength training session, being able to squat, well, that's the ability to sit down in a chair and stand up again. That's helpful. Being able to deadlift, bending over and picking something off the floor, also pretty helpful. Bench press, being able to push things away. Overhead press, being able to lift things up over your head safely and not ripping your shoulders. Rotator cuff tears are pretty common as people get older, especially women. Unfortunately, the upper body strength really goes down. And then pull up is just, overall body strength. These things are important to make sure that we are training some iteration of them. A lot of people can't necessarily go through these full movements, especially with a barbell. If you're very new to training, I don't necessarily suggest you start off that way. I suggest you start off with body weight. Body weight, using exercise bands is a really good place to start, and then slowly adding weight. And then we'll also talk about doing the assessment with somebody with you. So there is a strength training knowledge and self-assessment questionnaire included in the module. So you can wander on over there and take that and kind of just get your baseline, how familiar am I with these movements? Do I know what my maximum is for these lifts? And if you don't worry about it. It's okay. Again, we all start somewhere. So it's just a good place to start. All right. So consultation with a fitness professional. I am one of them. I don't have an in-person gym right now, unfortunately, but hopefully someday I will to have the whole shebang for you guys. But at this time, it's the virtual training. We've got the app Stronger Faster that you can utilize. It's got those videos and everything. And there's a lot that can be learned from Googling and YouTube, right? And then making sure that you're also recording yourself when you're doing these movements, and then you can send them to me and I will look at them. So I think I mentioned that last week as well. I'm happy to do that to help you kind of, do movement assessments. But if you're super, super new, or if you're just unsure and you want the guidance, I absolutely recommend that you hook up with a personal trainer. Most gyms have that option. They have a personal trainer, group of personal trainers that you can hook up with. You buy like a package of sessions, and then you come in once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or whatever you guys decide on. And you run through the exercises with the personal trainer there to help cue you, spot you, help with movement exercises and things like that. So it is super helpful. I started out there. I had no idea what I was doing in the gym. And I went through about every 6 months or so, I would sign up and do another, package of sessions with another personal trainer. And I'd find my favorites, of course, and then stick with them for a while, but then they'd leave and then I'd find another one. And, but it was really helpful. It's helpful to get reestablished with like a new routine. Sometimes your routine gets stagnant and you're like, "Ah, I don't know what to do." It can also really help too if you're new to a gym to get the hang of all of the equipment and everything with some like a buddy system, someone who's there with you, who's going to show you the ropes. And that way you don't feel so like lost and just like meandering around and like, you don't know what to do. And it encourages you to go and continue to be active in that, which is super important. So, all right. So practicing ideal form. So it's very important to understand and prioritize proper form. The significance of maintaining ideal form goes beyond just aesthetics. It also plays a crucial role in preventing injuries. So, proper form is your first line of defense against common workout injuries, and mastering techniques is your long term success to fitness journey. So, within the functional nutrition fitness programs at Anti Gravity Wellness, we use the Stronger Faster app that helps to coach form and progressive overload in a stepwise manner. Notice that it has those strength assessments in the very beginning when you first start to do an exercises, that it says that it doesn't know if you've ever done this before. You can either go through the strength assessment with the app, or you can, estimate your max 5 rep max, which is really helpful. It does lengthen your first session there when doing a new exercise. You're going to do a strength assessment. It can add, a couple of um, steps there, but is super helpful, especially if you don't know how much weight you should be lifting. And it will help you to progressively overload, which is super important to make sure that you're continuing to progress. So you can, and again, record yourself, send me the video, and I can help coach you as far as your form and everything, because I want you to be safe and I want you to get the most out of these exercises. So it's not just a safety issue doing these exercises properly, but it really does improve your muscle recruitment. So you're going to get the most out of the exercise if you're able to do it in the fashion that it was supposed to be done. So and you can also do the buddy system, so if anyone else in the program, or if you have a friend or family member, if you can get them to go with you, you guys can kind of help watch each other. Even if, your friend isn't necessarily any more advanced than you are, just having another set of eyes, and you can like watch the video together and go, okay, so this is what it should look like. Now let's watch each other and see if that's what we look like, and, kind of help cue, because it's sometimes hard to like feel where you are in space. And when you take a look at it, you're like, oh, maybe I could improve on that or this. So, okay. So, like I was mentioning, there are demonstration videos within the module. So, I definitely encourage you to take a look at that. Most of them are fairly short. I think one of them was a little bit longer, but definitely feel free to like fast forward through it until you get to the meat of what we're trying to see there. And I used a guy that is, really great at doing uh, the videos for all of that. He's a strength coach and everything. So I definitely recommend that you take a look at that. And this is just a really good way to learn. Even if you've been taught how to do these in the past, I'm honestly constantly always watching these videos because you learn something new from a different person. And there's lots of experts out there, there's lots of strength coaches out there, and they all have their own little unique style. And it's good to kind of get a wider base of information and then apply that to your body and your body mechanics, which might be a little bit different. So, like for the squat, for example, you might hear someone say, like, you always have to have your feet forward. And then another coach is going to say, no, you put your feet out. Well, part of that is body mechanics, honestly. And they might also be targeting different areas of muscle recruitment. And then if it's a powerlifting coach, he's going to have a different perspective on that because they're just more concerned with maximum power output and getting the parallel. Whereas, like a bodybuilding coach might say, we want you all the way down to the ground, for full muscle recruitment in order to have that development there. So, all just kind of depends. But I definitely recommend that you continue to improve your form, continue to watch other people, ask questions, and just be curious about it and always trying to get better. Okay, so breathing. Breathing is super important. And I found some really great videos for you guys also in the module. So we have a breathing and bracing video that's in the module there. And then the Valsalva seminar, it is a longer video, but it is worth a watch, especially if, let's say, that you're concerned about blood pressure, right? Because that's one of the things that you might hear out there that, oh, don't hold your breath when you're lifting because, your blood pressure will raise. Well, yeah, but it's supposed to. So there's some normal physiologic things that happen when we're pushing against a really heavy weight. And they've noticed that even, outside of a gym setting, if you push against something really heavy, you do something really strenuous, we naturally hold our breath. You brace, like you're bracing your core, and it actually increases the pressure everywhere. So even though the pressure in your blood vessels go up, the pressure outside of it is also going up. So it's not going to it has enough resistance against the arteries and the veins that this the concern is having a hemorrhagic stroke. So blood pressure goes too high and then the pressure in the brain gets too high, and if you have an aneurysm it could explode. And there's no real evidence this has ever happened. It's just kind of more like a theoretical thing, but it's some people were concerned about that. But again, it's a closed system. So she really talks about it very, very well in this Valsalva seminar video about the physiology of it and why that's not actually a thing. And it's actually very beneficial to when you're doing really heavy lifts on how to take a breath in, brace your core, and then perform the lift and then breathe out afterwards. And sometimes even like breathe in, brace, do a couple reps, and then breathe out. So but it is more of an advanced type thing as you start to lift heavier. When you're in the beginning, we're not so concerned about necessarily like tensing up everything, but it is always good to make sure, again, this is practicing. So what you do at a low weight, you should be able to do at a high weight, right? Okay. So we got a few more minutes. I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer. Progressive overload principles. All right, so what does that even mean, progressive overload? This is why strength training is so unique and really fun because it has this ability. A lot of other things, we kind of hit a maximum amount that we can do, like cardio, like running. You'll adapt to running for sure. You can run longer, you can run faster, you can run farther. But to a certain extent, like it caps out. Like you can only do so much, especially time wise. With weight training, we add more weight to the bar. We change the tempo. We do more sets. We do more reps. We do different types of tempo. So there's so many different variations that we can challenge the body with that it's just limitless with the progression that we can achieve with this. So that's one of the things that's really great about it. And it's in a safe, controlled setting, as compared to out there in the world or at a job or something like that when you're lifting something. It helps to actually prepare your body to be able to handle those stresses and make sure that you are using proper body mechanics because you've practiced them so many times under load in this type of a situation. So again, weight, reps, sets, tempo. Tempo is how fast or slow. And you can have tempo at the beginning or at the end or throughout the whole thing. So let's say like, to squeeze the bicep, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or we could go fast and then slow or fast the whole time. That's tempo, okay? And changing that will change how hard it is. So just think about that. If you're lifting something and you're going fast, you can lift it a lot more times than if you're going super slow and it's really heavy, right? You're not going to be able to do as many. That's that time and attention thing. So it stimulates different parts of the muscles to get different adaptations, and they're all good to incorporate into any type of training routine. So I like to vary mine all the time. And then we can we'll get increased strength, muscle growth, overall fitness improvements using this type of a progressive overload modality. Okay. So gradual increase in resistance. So how do we increase resistance? Let's say you start off with body weight and then you want to, you're doing body weight squats and you want to increase the amount of resistance. Well, we add weight. There's lots of different ways we can add weight. You can hold on to dumbbells. You can hold on to kettlebells. You can put a bar on your back. You can hold a person, like anything you want to do to increase the amount of resistance that you are pushing or pulling against. So that's a great way to improve that. Reps, doing more repetitions. So that's what I recommend too for people who are, let's say you're at home and you only have bands and you're like, okay, well, this is starting to get easy. Well, increase the number of reps and just keep going until until you burn it out. You can increase the sets. So the sets are like we're doing 3 sets of 10 reps, so you do 10 reps, rest, you do another 10 reps, rest, you do another 10 reps, rest, and that's 3 sets total. So that's how that works out. So doing more sets, more volume basically with either sets and or reps will increase the resistance that you're pushing against over time. And then tempo, as we talked about. Okay. So we can incorporate this in a variety of workouts. Again, weight reps, sets, tempo variations, and equipment. So while consistency is crucial, so is variety. Incorporating diverse exercises and workout routines prevents plateaus and keeps your body adapting. Different training modalities include, like we said, all of the things that are listed there. As we navigate through the principles of progressive overload, definitely feel free to connect the theoretical knowledge with your own fitness goals. So how does this apply to you and what you're trying to do? If you're a newbie, just going in there and doing some work is great. Once you get a little bit more advanced, changing up these components right here will help you to, first of all, not get bored. And second of all, increase the variety of your workouts so your body will be forced to adapt. You can use the exact same workout, but change any of these components, do a slightly different, there's like a million different variations of the squat, for example. You could squat literally every day, but do a different variation. You're going to get different adaptations from that. So it really helps to prevent stagnation, helps prevent burnout, keeps you mentally more stimulated, and still works you towards your goals. And it's all within the realm of normal. So all right, well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Next time we'll talk about nutrition around training and everything. So I really appreciate everyone participating, and those of you who are not able to join live, I will have the recording up for you later on today, and you'll be able to watch that. And anyone who was able to join, you'll be able to rewatch it. So really appreciate you guys. Let me know if there are any questions. You can drop those in the group chat for the Functional Friday module, or you can send me a message directly if you do have any questions. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your weekend.